Good morning, Las Vegas. That was Reba McEntire singing God Bless America and America the Beautiful. I'm showing 11 minutes after the hour of 6 o'clock. We are live on KLYN for the people that are on Facebook. Oh, well, you can be on Facebook because Facebook did connect up this morning again. So, something that we kind of have had issues with. Don't know exactly why, but we have had issues with them over the last couple of Mondays. And the rest of the week has been working real good, and I'm not sure exactly what we're doing on our side that causes these problems on Facebook. Facebook is pretty wonky to begin with. So, but YouTube is live. So we are on 90.3 FM, which is technically off the air, except any type of live broadcasting that we're doing now. And I've explained to the 90.3 people that were with us before 6:10 of a little bit of what's going on and trying to get the fix in today, so that we can be back on the air and have all the programs that everybody loves hearing, which is like Chuck Missler and Focus on the Family Daily Broadcast and all those other programs to go along with it. So on Facebook, Jennifer, Dana, let's see, sound. Hello, Mark. Sound is bad. Okay, sound is bad. Good morning, Batman. All right, so let's see if that helps out the sound a little bit. If I put it down, maybe that was the problem on the sound. So I'll wait to see what Dana says. But Mr. V. Hill is with us this morning, and I thought I saw Robin on there already. Oh no, that was Anthony that took it. So we are in, okay, we are in the 20th chapter of the book of Numbers this morning. But if my sound is bad, that's going to cause us some problems, okay? So I don't know. I'm going to keep on talking. I'm going to keep on going through this and telling you that we'd like to be here, but if the sound is bad, it doesn't help us out very much, especially is iRig on? Good question. Good question. That's the problem there, Mr. Burns. Part of our technical support team over there. And I'm getting a signal. So maybe the angels in heaven heard my cry and are going to give us a little bit of audio this morning. Okay, so are we, Anthony, Dana, other people that are listening, is that a better audio signal that's there? Buffering on Jennifer's side, okay? I don't want to touch much over here because I'm trying to talk, look at the computers, think about the songs that I'm going to have coming in, and so let's just go over it for a few minutes and let's see if we can get some good sound. Okay, I just got a thumbs up from Mr. Burns this morning. So my problem was that I had connected up the iRig, and that's another explanation there. Numbers chapter 20 is where we were at. Would you please move out of the way? Because I need to show, okay, you right in the middle of where I want to be. Okay, enabled it. We're going to go here. We're going to go here. We're going to go there. Nope. We're going to do that again. We're going to take that off. And maybe we can keep it right over there until we get to the bottom of the hour. We'll still try to have a weather report and pretend like everything's working okay. So right now we're minus Facebook. So if you know any Facebook users, you might want to text them and say they can move over to 90.3 if they're in the area, or LV Cornerstone Church on YouTube, which is a lot better in the way of connecting up, and most of our people are on YouTube most of the time. So, with all of that, wasting a few minutes of our study time, good morning, Flo, good morning. Verse 14, chapter 20, the book of Numbers is where we are at. If you're just tuning in right now, we're starting our teaching, and I tried explaining the issues that we're having, and I apologize for them, okay? Since our radio station went down Friday night, it's just what it is. But being the stubborn people that we are, me and the man in the mirror, there's the plural there, we're going to keep on keeping on. We're going to go through a few verses of the 20th chapter of Book of Numbers this morning. So, what has happened? What has happened is that the people refuse to go into the promised land. The complaining continues to start. How could it continue to start when it's already in process? The ongoing complaining that is still there. It's nothing new. The complaining of the congregation, the complaining of even the leadership has been going on. We see it, we understand it, we've been reading about it, and Miriam and Aaron even one time complained against Moses himself. So I'm guessing that by now Moses is pretty used to all of the complaining. Okay. Good morning, Jeff. It's Monday, Jeff. I thought we didn't see you on Mondays very much. I thought maybe you were teaching a Bible study or something like that. Okay. Now, Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. So we've tried to set up where we're at. We didn't enter into Canaan. That's the way I like to read the Bible. Like if I'm physically at Kadesh 3,500 years ago with Moses and the congregation, sometimes I'm in the leadership, sometimes I'm just one of the other 11 tribes, and sometimes I'm just that fly on the wall just seeing what the heck's going on. So here's what we know what's going on. They have come and refused to go in. They complain against the rod of Aaron buds. You all know what's going on. So they have decided they're not going in after they had, tried to go in on their own power and were defeated the next day. Those are very important things that we need to understand. There's one thing that this really reveals to me personally is how we as human beings can be so fickle. I mean, it's very easy to blame Billy Bob 3,500 years ago and Sarah May in the wilderness and say, well, look at those people. Look at how fickle they are. Look at how they just bounce back and forth, up one day, down the other. And, well, one day they're praying, the other day they're complaining about the people that they're praying, well, the person really, because the complaints come against God. But there's a fickleness to our existence, and when things aren't going the way that we want them to go, many times instead of trusting in the Lord with all our hearts, we lean upon our own understanding. And I believe that's a lot what's going on over here. I believe in the wilderness, we are seeing how fickle humanity is. And guess who's part of humanity? Every one of us that's listening this morning, we're all part of it. And we can be very fickle. We can be very unstable. And there is this drive that we need to have. I mean, to me, I see it almost like an investment. Our investing is in the spiritual. Our investing is in, are we willing to invest our life and offer it as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God? Are we willing to take the risk of not going along with the congregation and the helter skelter that's going on and stay where God wants us to be? We've been talking a little bit about that and where we need to be on Sunday mornings on our regular service, which was on KLYN. Thank you, Cisco, for putting that on there. We had the whole service, not just the teaching part of the service, because we want to see the the 90.3 working at least a little bit, know something about it. So we have decisions to have to, and this is the way I look at it. I look at it as an investment. And with every real investment, there's a risk. If you understand financial investments, let's say you want to put your money in the stock market. You try to find out information. Hopefully, you just don't hear anybody that's out there talking about it. But you try to find in a place to invest your money. But there's nothing that is really going to tell you that, this stock is going to keep on going up over and over again and is going to make it. But I want to tell you what, the things of God are a little bit different because there's an investment that you have to make, a risk that you are taking by dying to self, dying to this world, dying to the powers of darkness. That's probably one that we can see a little bit more. Oh, yeah, I don't want nothing to do with the powers of darkness, but your flesh and the world will drag you into the devil's plan for our lives. And the risk is that we are going to forsake the old and coming into the new. That was a risk that these people in the wilderness had to make, that they had to, and we got at least two people that we can really look at them as shining stars, and they are Caleb and they are Joshua. And we're going to learn more about these men as we go through not only Numbers but Deuteronomy. And Joshua's even going to have his own book, and things aren't going to change that much on the congregational side. Good morning, Joe Gentry. Now, Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. Okay? They have forsaken I don't think desire. Maybe there's a lot of desire. A lot of it is a misplaced desire to enter into Canaan, into the promised land. So now they have a where are we going to go? What are we going to do? Understand that God has already judged these people. God has already said, listen, it's going to take you another 38 years before you enter in, and I'm going to kill off. He said, oh, no, we're not done. I'm going to kill off the old generation, and I am going to raise up a new generation. So there's a little bit of death and resurrection in the congregation. But it's time to move. It's time to turn your back on Kadesh. Verse 14 says, now Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. Thus says your brother Israel, you know all the hardships that has befallen upon us, how our fathers went down to Egypt, dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians afflicted us and our fathers. So if they're beginning to go toward the east, as they're leaving Kadesh, Kadesh is right on the border of Edom. So if they want to go east, they have to go into this area that is called Edom. And we have to know what the history is between Israel and Edom. But let's play a song. Let's see how this works. Let's see if we can play a song or not without ads. And then we'll get into a weather report. I have Selah singing Wonderful merciful Savior. You say, Selah. Well, oh, I love Selah's music, man. I don't play it just because I need some filler.
Wonderful, merciful Savior, precious Redeemer and friend, who would have thought that Lamb could rescue the souls of man? Oh, you rescue the souls of man. Counselor, comforter, keeper, Spirit we long to embrace. You offer hope when our hearts have hopelessly lost our way. Oh, we've hopelessly lost the way. You are the one that we praise. You are the one we adore. You give the healing and grace. Our hearts always hunger for. Oh, our hearts always hunger for. Almighty, infinite Father, faithfully loving your own. Here in our weakness you find us, falling before your throne. Oh, we're falling before your throne. You are the one that we praise. You are the one we adore. You give the healing and grace. Our hearts always hunger for. Oh, our hearts always hunger for. You are the one that we praise. You are the one we adore. You give the healing and grace. Our hearts always hunger for. Oh, our hearts always hunger for.
Selah here on your Good News radio station and our YouTube channel, singing Wonderful, Merciful Savior. Now, the original members of Selah were sons and daughters of missionaries in Africa, if my memory. Yeah, you say, yeah, that you want us to. Well, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were sons and daughters of missionaries in Africa, and when they came back. Anyway, looking for a high today of 88 degrees with sunny skies, southeast wind 5 to 10 miles per hour this afternoon. Tomorrow, 20% chance of showers. Sunny the rest of the day, high of 88 degrees, north wind 5 to 15 miles per hour. And then on Wednesday, still a 20% chance of showers with mostly sunny skies, high near 88 degrees, south wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. So it's going to be a little warm, but not very windy. And that is our weather report that we have for you this morning on your Las Vegas people. So thank you, everybody, for sticking with us here on our program, and we are going to get right back into it. Let's see if everything, I'll take that one off and then I'll put that one on, and that looks like that's the Flo and Andrea page that they want to see. which I appreciate very much. So, fickle people, and time to move. Now, Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. Now, we have to understand there's a relationship that goes way back between Israel and Edom, and we've been through it before. Your DJ, he forgets about it occasionally, but Edom is another word for Esau. And I believe the word Edom meant red. And remember that Esau, when he was born, Edom and Jacob were twins. Remember, they were struggling in. So there is more than just a high-by relationship between, according to the way that Moses looks at it. Moses is telling the king of Edom, your forefather Esau, our forefather Jacob, were twins in the womb, I think it was of Rachel. And we were struggling to see who was going to come first. Esau comes first, but the blessing fell upon Jacob. And Edom eventually, or Esau, eventually moves away and starts his own land, his own tribal inheritance. And Jacob, whose name was going to be changed to Israel, was going to go a different way. He was going to go to the house of Laban, and he was going to bring back a wife from the house of Laban, and he is going to continue. Here's what you need to know, is that Jacob / Israel was going to continue the lineage of Abraham through these tribes that God has extremely great and precious promises. There was promises for Edom, Esau's people. And Moses understands this. And Moses isn't going to say, all right, you guys get out of the way. We're going to take this place over. Move out of the way. Don't you know who they are? No, he says, listen, we're family. They go way back. And it meant something to Moses because I believe it really meant something to God. Remember, we have, if our last count is correct, we have about 500,000 fighting men. And Jeff and I have been throwing around a number, and on Friday's program, he said it could have been 2 million people in the total congregation. And we know that at one time we've had 500,000 plus fighting men. That's a big army, ladies and gentlemen. That's a ton of. Imagine a 500,000. Anyway. But Moses doesn't tell them, we're coming through whether you like it or not. Thus says your brother Israel. You know all the hardship that has befallen us. So, and everybody's been, even the Edomites have been clicking their phones and finding out what's the latest and greatest, kind of like a lot of people were checking out what was happening to the big soccer tournament that was finally over. The soccer tournament is finally over in the United States of America. I think we're going to have a lot more soccer adherents here in the United States of America. And I think there's going to be some people of means from other countries that are going to say, now, how do I get to America? We found out how beautiful it is over there. So there's a two-edged sword when it comes down to that. Good morning, Robin. How our fathers went down to Egypt. Good morning, Yolanda. And we dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians afflicted us and our fathers. So the history of Israel between the time that Jacob went to Laban, came back, and all of a sudden his sons, Joseph ends up, I think it's his son Joseph, ends up in Egypt, and the whole 400-year history of them in Egypt, Edom knows about it. But we're related, you know. Don't. We're not going to watch what it says. Our fathers went down to Egypt. We dwelt in Egypt a long time, and the Egyptians afflicted us and our fathers. When we cried out to Yahweh, he heard our voice. Now, are the Edomites still worshiping the God of Abraham or not? Moses is saying, we cried out to Yahweh, which is the name that Esau grew up with when he was in the household with Sarah and with Abraham. So it's not a strange name like it was to the Egyptians, which was to some of the other tribal peoples that were out there. Esau knew. Esau/Edom knew Yahweh. Now, where they were worshiping or not, I'm going to say the chances of them not worshiping Yahweh are probably about 80% until we find a scripture that tells us different. When we cried out to Yahweh, he heard our voice and sent the angel and brought us up out of Egypt. An angel. Now, is this just talking about the cloud that's going to be over them during the day and the fire at night, or was there an angel? And now notice this in the New King James Bible. You might not get this in all of your translation, but according to the translators in New King James, angel needs to be capitalized in the middle of a sentence. So what does that tell you? So there's history here, and not only there's history, but there's intrigue that Moses said, Yahweh heard our voice and sent the angel, capital A, and brought us up out of Egypt. Now, I'm going to probably tell you, and we can look at this fairly quick, that not all of your translations are going to have angel in caps. Let's see if I'm right or not. Okay, gathered assembly said, now listen to rebels. No, that's not the verse that we want to compare. So let me go back to the New King James. Let me go to, where was it? Verse 16 is the one that should have brought up the compare. Okay, notice the Amplified doesn't have angel in caps. Neither does the English Standard Version. So we're starting to see, King James Version, a lot of people think is the only version, has angel in diminutive, not in caps. So that gives you a little bit of, well, is this God Himself or not? Yeah, that's where you do your homework. That's where you pray. That's where you say, God, trust in the Lord. Lean not upon your own understanding. How many times a week do we cite that verse of Proverbs chapter 3? Like verse 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart, lean not on your own understanding, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will guide your path. Well, there is an angel. Now, it could be that Moses is telling the Edomites, the king of Edom, that it was the cloud and it was the fire. I'm sure people had heard about it throughout all of that land and kept up with what's going on in Egypt. Because it was a detriment to a lot of the people. Who are these people that are coming up? Who are these people? Huh? And millions of them? And fighting men to go along with it? Who are these guys? A lot of intimidation to go along with it. So, he sent the angels and brought us up out of Egypt. Now here we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your border. So it was a city on the edge of the land of Canaan to the north, and it is also a city on the border of Edom to the, well, it would be the east. If I'm looking toward Canaan, it would be to the right, away from the Mediterranean. Please let us pass through your country. We will not pass through fields or vineyards, nor will we drink water from wells. We will go along the king's highway. We will not turn aside to the right hand or to the left until we have passed through your territory. So Moses has sent representatives to petition the king of Edom for this ability to pass through their country. We're headed someplace where they were really thinking of going. They were thinking of going around the eastern side of Canaan to the Jordan River and crossing over there. But it wasn't time for them to cross over there. They had their chance just a few weeks ago to enter in, and they wouldn't. So now they're thinking of going around to the land of Edom, going over to the Jordan River and crossing over there. But I see a touch of God on the Edomites here in this. Why? Because they're going to have to. It took them a couple of years to get to Kadesh. It's going to take them 38 years to get up to the land of Jordan, the Jordan River, and to enter in, because it's 40 years in the wilderness. A lot of us know that number, and we're pretty stuck on that number. And there's nothing wrong with it at all, being stuck on that number, okay? So, please let us pass through your country. We will not pass through. And their intentions are right. Moses' intentions are right with him and the people. We will not pass through fields or vineyards. We won't drink water from wells. We will go along the king's highway. We will not turn aside to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory. So they're making things fairly, plain of what they want to do and what their plan is. And he says, we'll just pass through the land, dude. Then Edom said to him, you shall not pass through my land, lest I come out against you with the sword. So, I do not believe that when the Edomites said, you come over here and we're going to throw down, me and you going to throw down. It's going to be Edom against Israel. I don't believe that was a real problem if the Israelites wanted to go through the land and say, we're going, come heck or high water, we're going. But there's a relationship here that I believe that God doesn't want his covenant people, Israel, to break. Number two, I'm not sure that God wants them to go that way and to try to shorten the time that it's going to take for him to prepare a resurrected people to come into the land. So, when you can get mad at the Edomites, and, well, who do they think they are? I have a feeling they were more in God's will right about then than Israel was. Jeff has an interesting comment for us when we're talking about the angel in verse 16. There are 54 translations of the Bible on Bible Gateway. 49 have angel as lowercase. 2 have messengers. 3 have angel with uppercase. So, that's the commentary. That's when it comes down to translations. That's why we don't recommend one translation and say, that's the best one, because best one doesn't exist in my estimation. So let us pass through. Let us pass through. Edom says, you don't go pass through my land. You're not going to come in my hood. Huh? He says, if you come out in my hood, me and my boys, we're going to be ready for you. Huh? I will come against you with a sword. So the children of Israel said to him, we will go by the highway. If I or my livestock drink any of your water, then I will pay for it. Let me only pass through on foot, nothing more. So they're offering them and say, hey, I mean, if we touch a grape, if we touch an olive, we'll pay for it. The price of everything just went up, ladies and gentlemen. You want to talk about the stock market? All of a sudden, ooh, yeah, no. He says, you shall not pass through. You're not going to make it. You're not going to come through. And that's just the way it is. So Edom is pretty adamant that that ain't going to happen. It would have been easier for Israel to go through the land. Moses would have, made sure that they weren't going to get anything, and if they did, he was going to. So it must have not been a very long journey if they weren't going to even take any water from the Edomites. We will go by the highway, verse 19. If I or my livestock drink any of your water, then I will pay for it. Their intentions were good. Moses' intentions were good. Do we see any place where God told Moses, go talk to the Edomites? I don't think so. Moses sent messengers, verse 14, but we have been hearing, and God said, and God told them, and God spoke to Moses over and over again. So maybe, his sister has passed away, and the people have refused to enter in to their inheritance that God had for them. Please, please, please do not forsake the inheritance that God has for you. You are not to live in the wilderness forever. That is just a temporary place on the way to God's rest, the place that God has you to rest. The book of Hebrews chapter 3 and especially chapter 4 tell us that our Canaan, that our promised land is a place where we rest from our own works and we enter into the promises of God. Let's go to, before we play a song in about 5 minutes or so, we're going to play a song or so, get us to the top of the hour. But let's go to Hebrews chapter 4 and says, therefore, since a promise remains of entering his rest, let us fear lest any of you seem to have come short of it. Indeed, verse 2. See, these tie in very well together. The gospel was preached to us as well as to them. Who are the thems? The congregation in the wilderness. But the word which they heard did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in those who heard it. For we who have believed do enter that rest. And he, capital H, has said, so I will swear in my wrath, they shall not enter my rest. Okay? And you read more of chapter 4, book of Hebrews. It ties in perfectly with where we are at in the book of Numbers. And it's telling us that we have a place to where we rest from our own works. And he says the way that we enter into that rest is by the faith in God's word. Okay, so it's more than just a story of 3,500 years ago. Okay. You shall not pass through. So Edom came out against them with many men and with a strong hand. So all of a sudden on one side of the valley, there are the Edomites. And Moses, whether they could have taken them or not, He's not going to violate the relationship between Israel and Esau. And I think we have to really congratulate or just say, Moses, good job. You shouldn't fight with your brother. You shouldn't fight with these people. Thus, Edom refused to give Israel passage through his territory, so Israel turned away from him. Instead of making a big deal about it, instead of saying, we're coming and we don't care what you say, and, all the different machinations of men, if you ever, lived out on the streets and, been part of that crowd, you kind of know the gang theme and my is West Side against the East Side and all. Ooh, and we'll get you. No, Moses says, no, sir, we're not going through, man. We're one town. See, I can localize this very easy. We're one town. We're one Las Vegas. We're not West Side and the East Side. We're one town, one people, and we should have one purpose. And I used to hear stories when I grew up in Espanola about Las Vegas. They had two of everything, one for the East Side and one for the West Side. When I moved here 30 years ago, a lot of that had been taken care of. Okay. But you can still see vestiges of it. But there was a connection between Edom, Esau, Israel, with Moses in the leadership. So Edom, Esau, Jacob, Israel, okay? Thus Edom refused to give Israel passage through his territory, so Israel turned away from him. Now, the children of Israel, verse 22, the whole congregation journeyed from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. Now, I bet you if we looked for a map, let's see, Egypt and Sinai, maybe this map here is going to help us out if you are on our Facebook page this morning. Okay, let's go down. Come on, go down and go down and go down. Okay, so here is Goshen on the top left. Here's their journey down to Mount Sinai. All right. And then there's their journey up to Kadesh. You see Kadesh. Okay. That's where they were. And then Edom, you can see Edom to the right on this map, to the east, and they didn't go that way. Instead of going into Edom, they went south, and that's what this is talking about when we get into this part of the 20th chapter. Okay? But what we're going to do is we're going to play a song. Let me bring that back up, and then we will get into more of the 20th chapter of the book of Numbers. And it just so happens, I don't know how these things happen, ladies and gentlemen, that we are going to pick a song from Selah. Selah singing, I'd Rather Have Jesus.
I'd rather have Jesus than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than houses or lands. I'd rather be led by his nail-pierced hand than to be the king of a vast domain and be held in sin's red sway. I'd rather have Jesus than this world affords today.
Hey, my brother. I heard you found Christ in solitary.
That I
That's
did.
amazing, brother. Well, guess what? I found Christ too.
I'd rather have Jesus than man's applause. I'd rather be faithful to his dear cause. I'd rather have Jesus than worldwide fame. I'd rather be true to his holy name than to be the king of a vast domain and be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today. He's fairer than lilies of a rarest bloom. He's sweeter than honey from out the comb. He's all that my hungry spirit needs. I'd rather have Jesus and let him lead than to be the king of a vast domain and be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today. Than to be the king of a vast domain and be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today.
Good morning, Las Vegas. You are listening to KLYN 90.3 FM. It is a Monday morning, the 20th day of July. Mark's High's host here on the early morning program. We're going to be on the air for about another 10 minutes or so, and then hopefully we get a call from tech support so we can get our regular programming back. So if you've been trying to get a hold of us throughout the weekend on 90.3 FM, we have been off the air. But we just heard a song by Selah, I'd Rather Have Jesus. I can see Dana laughing in the background, say he does like those old songs. Yeah, done a little bit different. Selah was originally formed by brother and sister Todd and Nicole Smith. The group quickly gained success in the release of their first album. They became known for transforming old Christian hymns into a more modern style. Okay? Todd and Nicole spent their childhood in sub-Saharan Africa, okay, and brought many African elements to their songs as well. Todd gives credit for his music career to his missionary upbringing. So we wasn't that far off when we were talking about it. I have an email contact, klyn903@gmail.com. Also, we have a website, LV Cornerstone, and a phone number, 505-454-9527. we're going to get into a little bit more about this story in the 20th chapter of the book. So, thank you. The book of books. Now, the children of Israel and the whole congregation journeyed from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. And the Lord Yahweh spoke to Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the border of the land of Edom. Now, here's something to me is interesting. Now the Lord is speaking. The Lord spoke, in my estimation, the Lord spoke when Edom didn't let him get in, but he didn't speak in the ear of Moses. But the circumstances itself presented Moses with this conundrum of, okay, what are we going to do? We're not going to go against our brothers. We're not going to go against the sons of Esau. So they start going, and now the Lord says, okay, well, I spoke to them through through the king of Edom. And not bad, no, pretty good job, Moses. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered to his people. For he shall not enter the land which I have given to the children of Israel, because you rebelled against my words at the water of Meribah. Okay. Moses had come from his own wilderness wandering for 40 years. When he was confronted at the burning bush, his excuse is that he couldn't speak, that he had a stuttering problem. God says, don't worry, I'll have your brother Aaron that'll be there with you as a spokesman. And some of the time Aaron was the spokesman, but I think more as Moses began to get confidence. And Miriam was their sister. So we had Miriam, who found, wasn't Miriam the one who took Moses out of or followed along with the basket as it was going down to the river? Moses, Aaron, and Miriam from the same parents. Miriam has already passed away. We only had a verse or two to tell us that Miriam had passed away. Now it's Aaron's time. The Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in Mount Hor by the border of the land of Edom, saying, Aaron shall be gathered to his people. He shall not enter the land which I have given to the children of Israel. We know the names of the two who will enter in, and none of them is named Aaron or Miriam or even Moses. Because you rebelled against my words at the water of Meribah. So when they struck the rock, instead of speaking to the rock, Aaron was there and apparently was partner to what was going on. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up to Mount Hor. Now this is okay. You are Aaron. You are Moses' brother. You've been right there by his side on his right hand since he came back from the burning bush, and you've spoken to the Pharaoh. You've been through everything. You've been through everything. You've heard the voice of God. You've heard the voice of the people, the complaining. All of these things. But now it's time to go, and it's not just all of a sudden that they're going to wake up one day and Aaron's going to have a heart attack or some type, and he's just gone. No, he knows what's going to happen because God is telling them. And he says, we're going to do this different. Oh, I love the God of different. I love the God that does things his way and doesn't allow us to box him in. Take Aaron and Eleazar his son and bring them up to Mount Hor, and strip Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son. So Aaron is going up to the top of the mountain, but he's not going just in his regular everyday clothes. He's going in his priestly garments. Oh, darn, it's a desert, man. It's hot out there. Gosh, darn it, man. Yeah, you go climb the mountain. Yeah, but I'll get these things dirty. I mean, I know what I'd be. I'll get all these things dirty, and maybe we'll wait for winter to come. I'm good at making excuses. Strip Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son, for Aaron shall be gathered to his people and die there. This is going to be your last go around, Aaron. Huh? So Moses did just as Yahweh commanded. They went up to Mount Hor on the sight of in the sight of all the congregation. Notice that. And hey, if you knew that this was your last day, it's kind of like dating. Not dating that way, boyfriend and girlfriend. I'm talking about dates. If you knew today was, or let's say you knew tomorrow was your last day, how would that change today if you knew tomorrow or next week or next month that was going to be your last day? How would that change your whole perspective of everything? What would you do? Huh? Would you sit down there with the remote in your hand and just say, "Well, tomorrow I'm going to be gone. I might as well watch one more"? No, I think it's going to be Moses is telling Aaron, "Meet us up on top of the mountain. Bring Eleazar. This is it." Understand. Yeah, understand these things. You're going to be gathered to your people and die there. Oh, I'm going to be gathered to the people. No. Yeah. You're going to be gathered to those people who are already in the sweet by and by, which I believe is the bosom of Abraham. But I could be wrong with that. But doesn't matter that much. Okay, it matters to me. I believe Aaron was going down to the bosom of Abraham. At least his body was. So Moses did just as Yahweh commanded, and they went up to Mount Hor in the sight of all the congregation. Come on, Aaron. Come on. You come on. Stop stalling, Aaron. Let's get up. Come on. If I can make it, you can make it too. Moses was over 80 years old at this time, and Aaron was his older brother. Moses stripped Aaron of his garments and put them on Eleazar his son. Aaron died there on the top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. So what happens is they get to the top of the mountain in the sight of all the congregation. This was important for the congregation to see that there is a transference, and this was going to be established in the priesthood, and God was going to make a visual in the mind of all of the congregation, and the ability of Moses to bring it into the covenant, because God had already spoken these things. God had already said, listen, the sons of Aaron are going to be the priests from the tribe of Levi. The Levites had already tried to enter into the priesthood. They weren't of the lineage of Aaron, and God didn't let them. What God is showing to the congregation, God is showing to the covenant people, is that there's a transference of this, how would I say it, authority, this rule, this position that God created, and Moses was just the guy that was going to institute it. And then now we are on the top of Mount Hor, and it's time to show, okay, we're going to continue, and this is going to happen for generations and generations and generations and generations. I would guess that there are still people in Israel today, if there's a Temple Mount Institute, Jeff, I would imagine that there's those that are there that say that they can trace their lineage all the way to Aaron, and they're priests. We saw priests in the time of Jesus in the New Testament, in the Gospels. We see the priesthood. And they should have been, if they weren't, they should have been from the lineage of Aaron through not only Eleazar, but Eleazar's brother. Aaron had 4 sons, and we learned that 2 of them have already passed away. Moses stripped Aaron of his garments, put them on Eleazar his son. Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. And who's the guy now that's going to go behind the veil once a year with the blood to sprinkle it on the ark and on the mercy seat? Well, Aaron's not there anymore. But Eleazar, who is the new high priest, will, until he passes away. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain. Now, when all the congregation saw that Aaron was dead, all the house of Israel mourned for Aaron 30 days. So they saw what happened. They know that Aaron passed away. Who buried him? I don't think the word tells us who buried him. Don't worry about that, Mr. Size. Just know that he's passed away, and that I hate to say transference. I think there's a better word than transference there that I could use, and I can't think of it right now. So I'll just say thanks for watching. We will be in the 21st chapter tomorrow. Let's hopefully that we are fully on 90.3 FM, Facebook, and YouTube by then, and we'll be